So hi there and welcome back to the channel, Paolo here, and the video of today is a subject coming from the past. This is the AMT Caterpillar d8h in 125 scale. I think it's probably one of the very few model kits of Caterpillar or bulldozers in the major scale 125, and I wanted to build it up because it should be part of a larger diorama where it sits on a lowboy trailer, American trailer, even from AMT. And so I decided to find this guy. The model was quite horrible, because I found a timeline sequence of when it was produced, and the first mold seems returning to 1972, so it's older than me, the model. And as I said, it's the only model reproducing a bulldozer in a Caterpillar in 125 scale. So it's a needing if you want to make an heavy load trailer and so on. The model itself was quite horrible. It have all the issues of a model made and developed in the early 70s. So there was basically no details. They provide in a box. It's a box that is constantly reissued also, because now I see also in Italy now returned available by some folks that ask big money, because this always have been quite very big kit, so they ask a lot of money. Plus AMT is quite exotic down in Italy, so you will pay a lot of money to have the kit of this horrible guy. I say horrible because the subject itself is lovely. The Caterpillar was an amazing machine, and fantastic, really fantastic subject, but the kit itself is really terrible. So it's very hard to find also nice models around the web finished in the proper way, with the proper details, sometimes weathered, because itself the box is extremely poor. I had the lucky to find this model already started from a folk in UK that really assembled it quite sorry, cold here currently. Today is okay, just -1. I come from a -15 last week. Well, so the model was already started, and several missing parts, mostly in the engine side. I want to see if it is possible to have better light on it. Here in Sweden we have quite few hours of light in the winter time, so it's little bit complicated to survive for somebody coming from the Mediterranean area like me, but I like so much the place, so that's it. So about the model, it was missing a lot of parts. Many of them were already glued in position, wrong mostly. So I had to disassemble basically all I could, but the problem was that probably have been assembled by a terrible glue that also damaged the plastic in several parts, so I had to find a compromise with the part that I wanted to detail, the part hidden, the detail that I wanted to add, and the nightmare that I had between my hands. The most horrific part of the kit is, however, not related just to the plastic. They feature everything in a kind of horrible yellow plastic, like this. Yes, this was indeed the front part. It is probably one of the trickiest part to modify, because Caterpillar used to have a particularly front end on the radiator, and they simply made it full, completely flat plastic, on which you are supposed to apply, I think I had it here somewhere, another even more horrific sticker, sticker, yeah. In 2022 we talk about sticker, that should be used instead of a decal. I'm trying to find a horrible one. Did I already trash it? No, I don't think so, but here it is. So this is a sticker that you will find inside the original box. I mean, even if you buy that now in 2023, you will have this this stuff inside. My box was indeed, I trashed that yesterday. I didn't have any willing to save old boxes, but it was a box from the Reeboks made, I think, in the early 80s from Matchbox. When the Matchbox was making 143 car toys and so on, I had plenty of them when I was a kid. And also added in the catalog some kits coming from other companies like this AMT. Probably they were belonging to the same group, Mattel, I suppose, in the early 80s, But this was indeed what they mean, like a decal sheet, So this should be a decal. As you can see, it's a plastic sticker, nothing to do with the decal set, because it could have been fun to have at least writing Caterpillar in a proper water slide decal to place at least in front of the model, you know, but in reality this always have been repainted and reused, and my idea was to do a subject coming from the Marshall Plan of helps from the United States to Italy after the Second World War, including a lot of military vehicle, ex-military vehicle, and working machine like this Caterpillar, like the lowboy trailer, like trucks. We had several American trucks in Italy until the 80s, you know, and still several are saved, so it's a great resource for American ex-war vehicles, you know. So this was the main issue, you know, and one is missing because I tried in the beginning to made a cutting of all the holes, you know, because in the reality this should be a kind of grill made completely around the hole, and I wanted to use this sticker that they provide like a guide to place it over here, and it didn't went through, you know. It became a shit, it became terrible, not precise, so I decided simply to cut everything away and place a wide open photo etched set, that one that is a complete photo etched part, so you can see also the under part of the rear from the light here, but there is some picture where I made a assembly of this Caterpillar, where you can see where there is the painted part of the lower radiator, you know, plus a big hook. I hope you can see that down there, scratch build. There is a big hook down there for pull chains and materials, you know. They were usually modified because being working machine, everybody that get it simply modify for his own purpose. So the motor was touched, the rear crane were touched, the tanker were touched. There is also plenty of picture where they indeed add a big cabin over to make it more simple to use in the winter season, you know, and all the lever became different, so there is plenty of modification that you can do to this model. The most horrific part of the original AMT kit is just about, like we say, the stickers, that we don't have any use for it, and this how can I say, this is really something that you cannot survive, I think, because this is what they mean, like to be the track links, you know. I mean, the proper Caterpillar track links should be made in that way, you know. Instead they provide this rubber. This is rubber, you know. It's kind of horrible workable plastic rubber. There is a kind of difference, as you can see, and in all the models that you will find around of the Caterpillar, I think I've seen just one or two around the world, you know, in the modeling group that I used to check. They simply changed the track links. So the track links, what I did, it was in the beginning was you find it somewhere. Let me check. Somewhere there, I think it is this part. Maybe you still can see. I tried to fix it using one of the link from the original box and in the front bolt, but it became horrible anyway, because this is not a plastic and easy work with, is rubber, so it always make that kind of peel, so it's really horrible. And all the models, despite they have great weathering over and they are built up in a professional way, when you look at the track links you say, oh my god, no, still that horrible stuff. So this is really the most and almost impossible to correct part of the model. So what I did here, it was to produce from zero, completely scratch build, one track links made in plastic, you know, and then I casted them in metal. It was a quite long process. I make it available also in my catalog, but it is an item absolutely under request because it takes several weeks to be prepared, you know, because I have to command them, and they make one by one the track links in metal that you have to hole on the inner side to make them workable. If you want to make them workable, you can also just want to make them mine are, you see. Instead, if you want just to place them in a static position and so on, you just have to glue everything of it, but I think it's worth it because being casted in white metal. I also was thinking to cast them in resin, you know, because it is even more easy to work with, to hold them and to make your own bolt with a metal pin. One by one is over 200 track links, you know. I made them a little longer, so you have some extra links for the track, you know. But that is really a step that if you want to build up this model, you have to figure it out something, you know. I think there is also something made in 3D I think I've seen something in Shapeways, I guess. Quite pricey, you know, because they are anyway big, many, and of course expensive to be found, you know, when you find it. But I think the metal solution for my purpose was even better, because then everything became much more easy also when you want to paint it, when you want to make them look so realistic. You know, if it is resin, you have to make all the metal effect and so on by your own, because it's resin color. Instead, in the metal one, they are very heavy. It's complicated to do because this stuff takes several weeks to be done. So I made the track links long before I started the model. It's something that you can do if you are in a jail, for example. And anyway, the overall final result is absolutely amazing on the model. You know, it's really the must that make the model fantastic. So if you also find today the AMT model, you just have to survive to these three parts that we have just said. You know, this is something that made the model almost impossible to be finished in a decent way, in my opinion. As it is the only choice to make something in a bigger scale, because in 135 now we have the mini art and as well as some Racing Cast bulldozer and tractor that can be used, but it is in 135 scale, it's not in 125 scale. So if you want to go for the bigger scale, you have to find a deal with this guy, you know. And for my proposal, I wanted to place it over a lowboy trailer, but the point is that the model that reproduced here of the D8, it was a model with a very large front blade that, in my opinion, is a little too big, because you see, okay, it's loaded over an extra loader vehicle, but with the front blade is really huge, and you also have the connection for this side of the trucks, so it became really too big for a trailer, you know. I didn't like the appeal of the model also because they covered part of this nice roller part on the tracks, as you can see there. You see, there it is. So I didn't want to place that part in position. It's a very big and complicated part. I was lucky to find a couple of pictures online of real D8 without the front mounted part, so I simply added the details here. This was cut from the original blade part, and then I built up the details, like two bolts just waiting there with the pistons resting, you know. It is much more in proportion, I think, for the purpose to be loaded over a track. It's believable that they took it away, the heaviest part, or they use it for something different, you know. Other Caterpillar had a different blade, a little smaller, you know, but the one provided by the box is too big, is too huge, in my opinion. So the motor was painted, of course, before, so you have to make all the details of the motor, despite several of them have also yellow color inside the motor, you know. And then I had a lot of extra fuel tank and extra details, extra light pointed on the rear. On the rear, I think this is something for walking the earth. I honestly have no idea which is the purpose, but they provide this, and that should be probably also another version with the three parts of these teeth going on the ground, but they just provide one on the box, so I just used that one. And the cable are provided in the box. They are quite nice, quite decent, you know, considering the overall look of the box. And then I wanted to apply an effect of very huge weathering over the model, you know. Here you can see all, you see, I added some plates around the engine and the commands up there on the levers, and rust coming out with a different color of paint and modification they did during the years. Of course, the working crane is even more weathered, and the track links scratched, and the front part and the front pistol with the actuators coming in the front, you know. Also here I try to copy the models that I found online. Of course, it's still missing the main exhaust up there because the model have to travel, so I cannot finish it like I want. And also that I modified it because the original one was this part, you know, with the muffler stopper on the top, but I didn't like it at all, and I simply replaced it with an ordinary, much more thinner and bigger tube coming up from there, painted in black. But that will be placed in position when the model will be sitting on the trailer completely fixed and finished, you know. It's something that I keep really I try to keep it safe for the traveling because this stuff have to travel, so I'm a little bit worried about what's going on during the trip. Some part can be broken and damaged, so I should be ready for everything. The seat is also changed. It's not the original one from the box. All the lever and the part have been modified and changed. So they are following pictures. In reality, there should be even more detail on the floor because it is everything that you can open, and probably to add some lever and some command more for the purpose that you are using the machine for. But I try to make something looking similar to what I found online, and that's it. I think the object is absolutely nice and huge. As said, unfortunately the plastics are terrible, so the model, don't expect to have an easy model by the ends when you have it. Also the dashboard there have been rebuilt. I used the 132 scale dash from Edward photo etched set, painted in black, so you can have some instruments down there. And I think it's absolutely lovely. It's something absolutely uncommon, and the Caterpillar are always an interesting subject. It's really, really a real working machine. The plus for the track link is a must. I didn't dare to say, so change completely the model. If I had used this one, I don't think I could have something satisfaction for my taste, and the front grille in the same way. So that's it, guys. I hope you like it. I love this ugly boy, and that's it. See you in the next one.